Hey guys, this is Ghost here and I finally made my first lockpicking tutorial. I know many of you have asked for this to happen, but before we take a look at the basics, let's talk about yesterday's patch. There are a few things that developers changed. First of all, each time you start picking, you will have to press F to bring up the lockpicking screen. Once the screen is up and you want to commence the process, you have to tap the spacebar. Also, pushing the screwdriver in used to work with the F button on your keyboard. Instead of this, we now will have to click with our left mouse button. I didn't know how this will affect my picking, as this was my very first try. However, I was in the faith that this will make the precision movements harder. This is actually not the case. The lockpicking seems easier than before. It will just take time to get used to the new system. There is another important change that you will see in this video, and that is that when let's say you move your pick to the 2 o'clock position and fail the picking, the next picking will start from exactly that same position. Before the patch, each lockpicking would reset and start at the 12 o'clock position. So let's dive into the basics of lockpicking. We want to start with the essentials. These are your settings. Every one of you are individual in many aspects. Your mouse sensor, your mouse weight, the weight and strength of your hand, the material you use under your mouse, and most importantly, the DPI setting. My mouse is set to 800 DPI, and I achieved this by holding a quick DPI change button on the side of my mouse. You might ask, why so low DPI? The answer is simple. You want to move your lockpick to the least possible. There are two reasons for this. First is that you only have 4 seconds for the picking process. Second, the opening sweet spot threshold on gold locks are extremely tiny. It is very easy to move your pick over the other side of the sweet spot, which will break it. You also have to be careful that even on low DPI settings, the speed you move your mouse should only be higher at the beginning. Once you actually start opening a lock, you want to slow your hand down to very precise movements. The amount of precision movement will depend on how far the lock turns. Let's have an example on this. Let's say I start moving my pick to the right hand side. If you start picking at 12 o'clock position and your lock starts turning to the 1 o'clock position, then stop there, you want to adjust the pick much further to the right. However, in the case your lock pick turns almost to the 9 o'clock position, you only want to adjust your pick very slightly. So basically, the more the lock turns, the less you want to adjust your pick. Of course, there is a lag factor in play as well, for example here on the first opening, but the rest will depend on your patience and skill using the above techniques. I hope you guys will use my tutorial wisely and practice a lot before we get on to the next, more detailed video. Thanks for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe.